it's that time of year again where the UK seems to be breaking records for its weather. But when, Adam, is it ever not breaking records? It seems like this is something that comes up every year. I can't remember ever looking in the newspaper and not seeing it's like hotter than Jamaica in Salford today or whatever. It's wild.
Yeah, it really is. But it's always something random. And I guess if you take it at like random points in the year, you can always say, "Oh, this is like the warmest October since 1983." You know,
Yeah, do you think that's how it works? It's like this hour between 11:56 and 12:56 on the 31st of May is the hottest hour we've ever had in the UK. It's
pretty
like,
much.
and cue memes everywhere. So the first thing I always think is hilarious, particularly as we live in Vietnam now, is the thing you see is like, oh, the UK heat's different. It hits different in the UK, and you
More than
start getting
tropical conditions.
yeah, and you
Like
start getting
98% humidity.
so you open up the news and there's like a 4-minute video explaining why it's hotter for British people than it is anywhere else in the world.
And then there's always the really weird advice like, "Oh, it's going to be hot. Open a window. Drink lots of water." And it's like, well, I was just going to keep all the windows closed and not drink anything all day. But now you've said that, thanks, Daily Mail or whatever.
Yeah, so apparently, like AP said that London had this tropical night, which means the temperature didn't drop below 20 C. I don't know about you, Adam, but if it's 20 C, I've got trousers on these days. I've probably got a light jumper. You know, it's at that stage. I think as we're sat here
Yeah.
right now recording, it's 41 degrees, 42 degrees real feel outside. You know, and probably 75 to 80% humidity. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think it's one of these things where the news is just like, hey, how can we make headlines look amazing? And you know,
Yeah, I don't know if they're selling, if the news companies are selling air conditioning or something like that, because they're really making people worry. Do you need AC? Maybe.
I've
Maybe
been
it's fine.
considering getting into the air conditioning business back in the UK. Actually, I think it would be quite a solid route to, you know, start making some money because people that they are hot for at least 3-4 days a year. It
Yeah.
makes sense to go and invest 50 grand in an air conditioning system, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah. Would you ever get your money back in any way? I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
no, I mean, it seems like you'd be cooler at least for those 3 or 4 days, if you could afford the electricity bill that came with it, presumably.
which is part of it. I mean, places like this, it's fairly cheap to run air conditioning like 24/7 if you want to. Imagine doing it in the UK. For if you were doing it even like a one bedroom apartment, I'm sure you'd be in like 200-300 pounds a month easy on electric. It must
Yeah,
be that or more.
I wonder if it's because I saw another news story where it said bills are looking to be going up hundreds of pounds in the UK over the next few weeks, basically. I wonder if it's like one of Starmer's policies that the weather will be hot for the next 3 months, so people don't need to turn on their heating, and you know, there's not such a concern about gas bills. People are cooking on charcoal outside,
Right.
so there's no need to like prepare so many things in the house. People are going and buying, you know, barbecue packs from Iceland and just putting them straight on the barbecue at home. So there's this, you know, the economy in general is like less strained because there's no heating, there's no cooking, there's no like preparation, any of those sort of tools you need in the house to prepare stuff. People are just barbecue packs from Iceland, whack them on the grill outside, you know, disposable barbecue, done. That's it.
Get your flip flops on, holiday shorts, and yeah, nice times.
Yeah,
Admire the
yeah.
barbecue.
Yeah, assuming that water bills don't go up as well, because you know that could also be a problem. Because clearly in the UK, swimming and stuff is not the best idea. I've heard there's loads of like people dying in rivers and lakes and stuff, which I never remember hearing about before. I don't know if it's because it's like such an
Yeah.
early heat wave this year, but I don't remember there being so many tragic accidents on rivers and lakes and stuff. But yeah, there's been about 12, I think, in the last few days, and apparently it's because the water is still known as very much winter conditions in the UK right now. So
Oh,
if you go
right.
swimming, it's still like 12 degrees in the water. So people are like
Which
jumping in, cardiac arrest, like all of this stuff. And yeah, it's proper serious. And loads of kids going swimming in lakes and just, yeah, getting into difficulty and tragic accidents and stuff.
Wow,
Um,
I really didn't know. I
yeah.
didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah. And what blew my mind, so check this out, 1/3 of the UK population apparently couldn't swim a length.
Really?
Yeah,
But I
like
thought
that
it was
fucking
like,
blew my mind.
I thought it was a big thing because I remember being a kid and we'd even have swimming lessons at school. And I think everyone got like the 25 or 50 meters or different certificates for some people, even 100. But it surprises me that so many can't. I guess maybe there's just not access to pools in certain areas.
Yeah, I think maybe they've just had to fill in the pools and turn it into another classroom.
Or another prison. Run out of
Yeah.
spaces, right?
Yeah, because when I went to school, we had a swimming pool. It was cold, right? But there was a swimming pool in an old shed that we used to go swimming in the summer months. And yeah, we had to do like everyone jumping in their clothes and swim a certain length and all of that kind of stuff, right? It was part of the training of what we did. You know, it's not like we're Germany where they had to ban swimming in lakes and rivers in the 1800s or whatever because people were just, dying in rivers and lakes. So like that, they're
Right.
notoriously known for not being able to swim very well because they just, oh, this is causing lots of problems with the population. Let's just ban it.
Right.
Yeah,
Just blanket
let's just
ban.
ban it. Yeah, yeah, and it's weirdly so with the weather and stuff. Apparently it's a tricky legal angle because if there is a right for a boat or a powerboat to go up and down a river or a lake in the UK, then you're allowed to swim in there. There's like a right of way, a right of passage, a right of whatever. Apparently, so it's like
Okay.
a legal grey area to stop people going swimming in lakes and rivers.
So I guess it's almost like a public place. The river's not really owned by anyone. It would be the same as like a beach or a park or that kind of thing, I would imagine.
Yeah,
So the public
yeah. I
has
mean,
rights.
I've been busy in, understanding the bylaws of British waterways the last couple of days because, I thought that would be a really good use of time being as I've lived in Vietnam.
Should I do any work and support my family? No, I'll look into bylaws of the British waterways. What happens if you're swimming and you approach a swan? I don't know.
Yeah, who has right of way? Yeah, but it just going back to what we were saying about the weather and stuff. It is always an interesting thing where in the UK we have to, everything has to be bigger or better or, oh well, we did it better. It's harder in the UK. Oh, it's harder because we got longer days. The days are longer because we're in the northern hemisphere. So much longer days. Well, it's so much hotter in the UK. It's bollocks, isn't it? It must be because like Europe's hot in the summer, right? Like Spain's super hot, France is super hot, Germany gets really hot. Like they cope.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Spain when it's been like 42 degrees and things like that. Everything still works. Whereas in the UK, it's like, oh, it's a bit warm out, right? Cancel the trains, hosepipe ban, all these things start coming in. And it just seems like it's really badly organized. And
Yeah.
they haven't adapted for it. Because, yeah, okay, it's been hotter on this particular day than it was a year ago or 2 years ago or in history. And it's like, yeah, okay, but it's only a little bit higher or around the same as the highest temperatures that they've ever had. And so, the country gets that hot. Why don't you just kind of prepare for that? And it's the same. I always found it really bizarre in England how during the winter, it's miserable and raining all the time. Then in summertime, it doesn't rain for like 2 weeks, and it's like, oof, don't put any water on your garden, don't wash your car, don't and it's like, is it that difficult to like store it?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like you can't really win, and even in the winter in the UK, everything shuts down. It's like if you get like a millimeter of snow, if you tell a Canadian or an American about like what shuts down our roads and stuff in the winter, they'll laugh at you. It's like,
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's snowing? What, you've got like a dusting, and then all the kids are sat listening to the radio, waiting for their school to be read out to say the heating's not working, so you don't have to go in or whatever. Probably
Yeah.
not anymore, I guess. But Like, yeah, then maybe there are still some kids sat around radios in the mornings.
Yeah, probably not so many sat around
They probably
TikTok
just
or
ask
something.
AI or something. Yeah, one of the cool kids at school has done a TikTok. Yeah, there's no school today because the heating's broken. You can all stay at home. Skibbity, whatever, six,
Gangster's
seven.
Paradise playing in the background or something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I suppose that, to sort of bring it to that end, there is this thing where if something goes out of the natural range by a certain percentage in terms of temperature, people do start dying more. So, like, if the average temperature in the UK is, say, like 12 degrees, that's probably a bit high, but whatever it is, if it starts to go out of the top end range or below the bottom end, people do start dying. And it's the same in every country. It's just obviously the range moves, right? So there is a health aspect to it. And I suppose British people, we don't know how to stay out of the sun either. It's like, if you ask a British
Oh,
person, they
yeah.
go, oh, what did we do before sun cream? It's like, well, we stayed out of the sun, numbnuts. We just like like Asian people do, right? They don't go in the sun all day. They just stay out of it. They cover up. They wear clothes to cover themselves. So it's kind of that, I think we're
Yeah,
so not used to seeing it.
I did live in Tenerife, so I know quite a bit about that. You sort of take a walk along the beach and there's like stereotypical British holidaymaker, completely lobster colored from from like the last 8 hours of sunbathing.
Yeah, if you dropped a bear off there, it would be confused. It'd think it was like salmon mating season at the top of the river or something. It would just be running
Pretty
down
much,
the beach.
except all the salmon have got tattoos and they're holding a pint of unbelievably cheap beer.
Love and hat on their knuckles because one of the fingers is missing.
No regrets.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, the one thing that everyone can be happy about in the UK is you can guarantee next week you'll all have your heating back on again, because it'll probably be back to, frost on the grass, 7 degrees, and, potential snowy weather coming back through. So that is one thing to be said for the UK, right? You know that it's going to change quickly. And as much as it's only ever really between 0 and 20, apart from these extreme times, it's going to go back to close to 0 pretty damn soon. So relax, guys.
Yeah. And I mean, if the whole temperature on average was moving up in the UK, would that be such a bad thing? Because I mean, most of one of the main reasons that I don't like it there, it's cold a lot. An extra degree or two. And that thing you said, when you get to like those extremes in temperature, people do die when it gets too hot, but more people die when it's too cold. And so in fact, it's actually, if it was going the other direction, that would be more to worry about in terms of the effect on the population.
So we do need a good few cold spells a year just to kind of keep the population within a decent
thin out the herd.
Range, thin the herd out a little bit, and then a few like super hot days just to weed out the weaklings a little bit.
I didn't know you'd been consulting for the British government again.
Well, I am open to work right now. So yeah. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this little story, don't forget, give us a like, a subscribe, join us in the next one. We'll be bringing plenty more of these little news segments over the weeks and months to come. You ain't going to get rid of us that easily, YouTube. We're sticking around. Thank you, Adam. Until the next one.
See you next time.